We have a lot of great friends and a lot of great people. Laura, how are you? You look so beautiful, as always. That's a woman with courage. You don't want to be Loomered. If you're Loomered, you're in deep trouble. That's the end of your career, in a sense. Thanks, Laura.
Who are you voting for in the primary?
I'm voting for Laura Loomer.
Woo! That's right.
First, baby.
America first. Out here in the villages.
Let's check in on Laura Loomer to see how her primary election race went.
We are losing our country because of big tech election interference. And I am pleading with the Republican Party to please start taking this issue seriously. Please. Because the American people deserve representation.
But what are they doing? I want to know what people are actually going to do. My life is ruined. Does anybody understand how ruined my life is?
Cheers indeed.
Donald Trump did nothing wrong. Donald Trump did nothing wrong.
Donald Trump did nothing wrong. Donald Trump did nothing wrong. And we're going to be here every single day talking to all of you fake news media freaks and letting you know that Donald Trump did nothing wrong until you start to report the truth.
For those of you who don't know, Laura Loomer, the woman with the bullhorn here, is a certified MAGA kook and twice failed Republican candidate in Florida who regularly spews some of the most unhinged garbage you will ever hear.
I have this kind of a blessing, but it's also a curse where I'm able to see things coming years ahead of when they actually happen. And I knew that big tech was going to try to steal the election in 2020. And people said I was nuts. I knew they were going to ban Donald Trump. People said I was nuts.
Taking everything Trump says as gospel and parroting his talking points word for word is as far away from psychic foresight as humanly possible.
Everything that I've predicted has happened. Everything that I said was going to happen has come true. And so perhaps people should listen to what I say because I have a pretty strong batting record.
People like Loomer thrive off of the cult that Trump has created since the audience already exists. They just need nutcases like Loomer, Bannon, and others to feed them lies and propaganda they crave. And what's even worse is that whether she's purely grifting or believes her delusions or not is irrelevant to the damage her policies and rhetoric cause.
I'm a really big supporter of the Christian nationalist movement. I support Christians. I'm going to fight for Christians. I'm going to fight for white people. I'm going to fight for nationalist movements. But there is clearly a war on white people. There's clearly a war on Christianity. Even though I am Jewish, I'm still going to fight for Christian nationalists. And I find that most of my friends and most of my allies and most of the people who I associate these days with are Christian nationalists.
And here's another doozy. Christian nationalism is inherently anti-Semitic. And the Christian nationalists she associates with and wants to defend from attack are vehemently anti-Semitic, like Alex Jones, Trump, Nick Fuentes, etc. And what's odd is many on the right will overlook their Jewish faith because they're willing to help the cause a lot of times with their bank accounts in mind. And it is just politically useful for them to be kept around.
It's such a crisis in our country that we just need to have a full-blown immigration moratorium. It doesn't matter. Like you'll hear conservatives say, oh, well, we're not against immigration. Well, I am. People like to say it's xenophobic. People like to say it's too nationalistic. Well, I think that, nationalism keeps you safe. Profiling keeps you safe. Discrimination keeps you safe. And when I say discrimination keeps you safe, I'm saying having standards, right? Because what's the difference between discrimination and preferences, right? There's really no difference. People think that discrimination is a bad thing. Well, if it's being utilized as a standard, right, to establish standards of safety, is it discrimination or are those standards?
This is who the same exact logic the schmazis used to justify their treatment of anyone who they deemed wasn't Aryan enough for their society. Loomer's just cleaning up and rehashing it for a new audience that will never think beyond what they're being told because dear leader has given her the credibility she desperately wanted.
We have a lot of great friends and a lot of great people. Laura, how are you? You look so beautiful, as always. That's a woman with courage. You don't want to be Loomered. If you're Loomered, you're in deep trouble. That's the end of your career, in a sense. Thanks, Laura.
Just weeks ago, another failed MAGA Republican candidate, Brendan Dilley, who got a measly 823 votes out of over 76,000 ballots cast in his election, recorded this insane video of Trump praising Loomer at Mar-a-Lago with another one of Loomer's close allies, present, that being failed Arizona gubernatorial candidate Kari Lake. On the topic of Loomer and Lake, Media Matters has some fantastic reporting and coverage on their relationship, spelling out in this brief timeline how Loomer was impressed by Lake's bid for governor and cozying up to her both online and in person after their disastrous midterm election outcomes. Like two rotten peas in a moldy pod, Loomer and Lake have allied together to push election denialism and conspiracy theories about immigrants crossing the border to destroy our nation in classic MAGA fashion. Loomer is also savvy and hopping on the latest right-wing culture wars, whining about DEI initiatives in a quote tweet from Gen Z progressive Congressman Maxwell Frost because she's too scared to say the slurs that she's thinking in her head. Loomer even made national news back in 2017 after getting banned from Uber and Lyft when she tweeted this: "I never want to support another Islamic immigrant driver." Additionally, complaining that she was late to an NYPD conference because she refused to have someone she deemed as Muslim to drive her. We've known who she is for some time, but as she moves closer and closer to the levers of power, we can't forget about what she actually represents. If there are any stories we missed, if there are any that you, the viewer, would like to submit, get at me and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. DMs are open. Support the channel. All of our content is free. It's the least you could do. Become a paid channel member and or go to tyt.com/join to support the network as a whole. Thank you so much. Have a great day.